everybody. Welcome back to Up, and Away, a comic book movie review and news podcast. My name is Joe Gilpin, joined as always by my brother,
Matt.
How are you today, Matt?
Good.
Wonderful. Today we are going to go over a whole bunch of news. At the very end of the show is going to be a spoiler-filled Deadpool 2 review. Matt, do you want to do a non-spoiler, one-word review right now?
Okay, one word.
Good!
Chimichangas, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Maximum effort.
That's 2 words.
I don't live by your rules.
Could
or
be
my own.
Could be a hyphen.
I'm a renegade.
Wouldn't make sense, but it would.
This is a podcast where we get into everything we can about superhero and comic book culture news, reviews. Today is a Newsday episode, so we're going to go through everything that's been happening recently in comic book culture as much as we can and give our opinions.
And sometimes we have to start on somber news.
As we will today with the headlines. Rest in peace to our Lois Lane growing up, Margot Kidder.
Miss Lane.
She has passed away at 69. She went peacefully in her sleep. Margot Kidder is best known for playing Lois Lane in the original Superman movie series alongside Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
She has been out of the spotlight for some time, just living her life quietly in retirement. This is certainly a sad passing to see her go. Something else that I was always appreciative of her. She got a lot of shit for, being a person who had mental illness. She lived with bipolar depression.
Yeah, and
but
being
she
open
was
about it.
very open about it, and she was very courageous about coming forward and saying, this is what's happening, this is what's going on with me, please don't make that the entirety of me.
Right.
And so I'm going to honor that by today saying, I went back and I watched Superman 1 within the last 2 weeks. It's wonderful. Margot Kidder is wonderful in it, and everybody should go and check that out as much as possible.
It really is their relationship that makes that movie what it is, in my opinion.
I think she adds a lot of the sass and a lot of the journalistic integrity that we see in today's modern Lois Lane. It's mushroomed since, but I think a lot of that
For 40-some years ago.
very brazen personality really started with the indefatigable Margot Kidder.
So, we thank you.
We do have some trailers that I definitely want to talk about. We have the AntMan trailer, Marvel's AntMan and the Wasp, the sequel to the highly successful AntMan movie. The star of this is the suspected star of the movie, who's going to run away with it, Hope Van Dyne. She is kicking ass in her new Wasp suit.
Evangeline Lilly.
She is all over this trailer. She looks awesome. The suit looks awesome. I'm really excited for this. I'm excited for how much it looks like they're going with Giant Man in this.
Yeah.
And the play between big and little is gonna just look real fun, and it looks really funny. So I'm into a lot of this.
Yeah. This movie is it's in a weird spot. Just time-wise.
I know. Let's talk about that. Okay, everybody knows about Infinity War now.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we're gonna spoil Infinity War.
Stuff happens.
Yeah. The world is in chaotic turmoil.
Yeah.
Let's say that. And then this movie's coming out. I feel like they're obviously going to have to place it before the events of Avengers Infinity War, or everybody just needs to be crying all the time. It's not like all these people happen to get saved.
Yeah.
Like, the odds just really worked out.
In the
That would
Ant-Man
be
favor.
crazy if, you got into it. It was like, wow, everybody in Omaha made it. They had no idea anything was wrong.
Yeah, weird.
Like, one guy in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that was it. So for this trailer, a lot more Giant Man, a lot more Hope. Hope. I suspect from putting these trailers together, what's going on in this movie. They talk about it in this. Hank's former meddling in the quantum realm seems to have created a ghost-like villain who can walk through walls.
Yeah. Played by Hannah John Kamen.
Yes. Assumedly, the science behind that is that she is moving between the space between molecules.
Like how the Flash can do.
Like how the Flash can do, or how Kitty Pryde does. They've gone to this well a couple of times, and it makes sense considering shrinking down in between molecules, how that would work with Hank Pym's former line of work. We also do meet a former colleague of Hank Pym, Lawrence Fishburne's Goliath, which I'm actually pretty excited to see him in this.
Hank Pym's former colleague, Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Playing himself.
They go to him and they give him guidance, which makes me feel like this is like an old academic, maybe like the
He's
daughter
in, like,
of
an
an old
office.
academic.
Yeah.
Well, no, the villain might be.
Oh, she's black, too.
Yeah, I think she might be like, maybe it's his daughter, maybe it's, the daughter of somebody else they were working with who's come back to get revenge using their old technology. I feel like this is going to be much in the vein of like an Odin or a Tony Stark, the past coming back to haunt him. Yeah. And I guess in Ant-Man 1, same thing.
Yeah, true. Darren Cross was very jaded.
Super jaded.
Come on, Darren.
Come on, Darren. He went crazy. There's a lot of villain problems in that movie that it's not the strongest villain. I'm hoping the villain in this is a lot stronger than the one we had in AntMan.
The only real question I wanted to know was, like, did he actually have brain chemistry problems? Like, they kind of just left that.
Yeah, they mentioned it at one point. They're like, he's got brain worms, and just walked off.
Well, she said it to him. She's like, your brain's fucked up. And he was like, no, it's not. And they never touched on it again.
I'm taking my alpha brain pills.
It's the only flaw in that movie, in my opinion.
The star of the trailer, I know I said it was Hope. I lied. It's actually the Crime Boys. The Crime Boys are back.
Oh, yeah, Luis.
The Crime Boys are back in town, and they're legit now. They're running a security business of some kind.
Sure.
Something.
They could run a smoothie stand. Like, I don't care. Just let them
that would be funny. They should run, by the end of this, they should be running a Baskin Robbins. Baskin Robbins always finds out. And so they get pulled into this. The trailer has a lot of great special effects, a lot of fun shrinking and growing kind of stuff going on.
I love how they set the trailer to Luis basically narrating what's happening.
Love it. Love everything about it. Take advantage of your pluses. Take advantage of your advantages.
Yeah. So it looks fun.
It looks really fun. I'm all in. I'm gonna stop watching anything else that comes out about Ant-Man. I'm in. I get it. This is enough. This was kind of the plot-based trailer that they tend to come out with. Mm-hmm. Speaking of plot-based trailers, Venom put out one that was a lot more plot-heavy than one we got a couple of months ago.
Right.
So the Venom movie is looking like, after this trailer that came out, starring homeboy Tom Hardy. I almost said Tom Holland. Hello.
Maybe. We don't know.
So it's a big scientific breakthrough. This alien has landed. Riz Ahmed collects it. He works for a villainous, faceless corporation, the Life Corporation. Life Foundation. Journalist Eddie Brock, he ends up getting infected while investigating a lead on this corrupt organization. Does he have a speech impediment in this? We mentioned it a little bit. I really feel strongly that he has a speech impediment.
It's his accent.
It's his accent, right? It's a little like this.
Yeah.
Like and there's like he's dropping some letters. It's all over the place.
Bane was a little like that too.
He's done that voice in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I remember I once saw some British TV show that's like set way back. And I just heard from the screen, Bane, but it's not through a mask. Like, oh, hello! Like,
I got Tom's on screen.
It like stopped me in my tracks, like I'd been tranquilized.
Remember when you got that Bane toy from Dark Knight Rises?
Somebody after Dark Knight Rises gave me a Bane toy.
Like pull the string, it'll talk, or you like press a button, it'll talk.
You press a button on the back and it talks, and it went, I'm Bane. Ha 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 ha.
Sounds nothing like Tom Hardy.
Sounds nothing like Tom Hardy. Sounds nothing like the movie. He never in the movie says, I'm Bane. Never once. I don't think,
And so we took it back, and the guy at the store, they're like, have you ever seen the movie? And he was like, yeah, I saw the movie. And so we pressed the button for him, and it played, and he was like, ooh.
That is not what he sounds like. I apologize.
And we returned it.
So for Venom, we know that there are more than one symbiote. They do say symbiotes plural.
They say symbiotes.
Symbiotes, yeah. Jenny Slate throws a symbiote.
It's like, symbiote's a word. It's not like a word created by Marvel.
That's the worst I've heard you fuck up a word, and I once heard you say fuck on SNL. Come on, get it together. They're taking people over and making them violent. For some reason, the one that Eddie gets infected with somehow, Venom, he's communicating a lot more openly with this symbiote, it seems.
Well, we don't know how the others are. We see, like, Lasher, I guess. I'm one of them.
Something, yeah.
We don't see Carnage in this trailer. No. We see one of them, and someone's just reacting violently. So we don't really know how they're interacting with the other ones.
Yeah, that's fair. And those will be interesting dynamics. Are there ones that are going to be more sympathetic to Venom? But Eddie ends up making a compromise with this super powerful symbiote that if you're going to stay, we can only hurt bad people. It's a really weird accent.
Why did we do that? Yeah. Like when he said that, I was like, why did you say that?
Yeah. We can only hurt bad people, which I think is they've done it in the comics before. Flash Thompson has done it as well. It ends up being really compelling.
Yeah.
It ends up being really fun. And it's going to be this running dialogue of good versus evil going on. And I think that's really good because something I've always loved in comic books is the internal monologues we can get that kind of contradict what's going on in the moment. That's what makes stories like Batman and Spider-Man so fun, is the internal monologues.
Yeah.
I think if you took like The Dark Knight Returns and you took out the internal monologue, you just saw it doesn't work as well. It's not the same. Spider-Man, the same thing. If you're not reading about how petrified he is, while he's making jokes, you lose what is making this moment so heroic.
That's what I thought Gotham was going to be a lot of.
internal
of
monologues.
Bruce like starting to start that internal monologue.
That would be good, yeah. And you basically are just writing, almost like a poem, honestly. You know what I mean? Just some flowery.
Yeah, David Mazouz doesn't even have to work that hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just reading something. No, I'm saying for the writers, you're just writing this
Soliloquy.
reflection on loneliness or whatever, or justice or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
exactly. Darkness.
Why does this thing look like Spider-Man? That's the biggest question through all this.
Yeah.
Why does Venom
It's
look
got
like
the
Spider-Man?
eyes.
It looks just like him. And that's always been a thing in the comics. Venom looks like big, oily, yoked up Spider-Man.
Well, it makes sense.
For a reason, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense in the comics, but here it raises a lot of questions, which is a lot of people think like Tom Holland might be in this movie, but then even then, is Spider-Man going to appear? Is Venom going to look at a picture of Spider-Man and be like, that?
What if he materializes to this universe from the MCU? What if because of Infinity War, he just like dusts up? Oh man, where am I? Where's Mr. Stark?
I thought I was on Titan.
It's just they're dual bad accenting each other.
Yeah, who's trying to outdo each other.
Oh man, this seems really. Oh, hello. Sorry about that.
Oh, Tom.
Oh, Tom.
Oh, both Toms.
Oh, but my Toms.
My Tom H's.
Moving along.
Was there anything else in that trailer? I remember reading there was a thing that the writers of Venom were being coy about it being connected to the movie Life, that Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds, Rebecca Ferguson movie, because that was about like they find a symbiote in space, crashes. I'm spoiling
not a symbiote, but an alien that
it looks
appears
fucking
to
like
be a symbiote.
And it crashes down to Earth at the very end. Spoilers, it's not a very good movie. And that's just where that movie ends. So they're like, maybe, and it's a Sony picture. So it's like, it could.
It's theoretically possible.
If they wanted to, they could, but why would you?
I'm skeptical until proved. Yeah, it's not like it was a really big successful kind of situation.
Yeah, it's not like Split and Glass. Like how
I
it's
was
like,
gonna say how like I think Split had just come out when that was starting to go around, and so everybody was like trying to find other ones.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It didn't end up working out.
You're not all M. Night. Stop trying to be M. Night.
Overall, I think this movie could look pretty good. How do you think the Venom suit looks?
Looks great.
It ended up getting memed.
I love
while.
the memes. Those are great. It's because it's like what I look like when I'm looking at spaghetti or something, and it's just got this big old toothy grin.
And then I'm left sitting there like, man, that is so true. That is exactly how I be. This meme nailed it.
So we also
double tap like it.
We also get looks at Michelle Williams.
Yeah, who is Tom Hardy's boyfriend. She also works for girlfriend.
She Venom.
Yeah, she could be She-Venom, or
that's not going to happen in this movie, probably.
She does work for the Life Foundation, so there's some conflict of interest there.
That's how he gets
That's how he gets his access. Overall, I think this thing looks pretty good. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. Let's say it that way.
Don't be bad.
We got some more information on the DC universe.
Ooh, this is interesting.
I am interested in this. We got title cards and logos and a little bit more information for all these shows. We got a title card from Titans, which is coming out, the DC universe.
The Titans logo looks like shit.
It does look bad. The streaming service is going to be called the DC Universe. Sure. That is what we're going with, which is great. Go for it.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Great. Universe.
Why not? Book it. We have shows for Young Justice Outsiders.
Yes.
We have Titans, which looks like it's going to be the main live action show.
Please put out some fucking photos to disprove the other ones.
Spinning off of that Titans show, spinning off of the 5th episode, is going to be a Doom Patrol TV show. Doom Patrol. Which we've mentioned a little bit, but...
we knew they were coming to Titans.
We're finally ramping into gear with this.
In the show.
Doom Patrol is a group of heroes. It's basically the X-Men. It's the X-Men before the X-Men that came out about 3 months previous, which happens to be the turnaround time if you'd like to create a new series around that time. Who's to say? They're very strange, very meta characters. We have a lot of the casting. Niles Caldier is Bruno Bashir. Elastigirl is being played by April Balby. Robot Man is being played by Jake Michaels.
Robot Man.
Heartbreak Kid, Jake Michaels. And Negative Man is being played by Dwayne Murphy. Overall, I'm pretty excited for the show, but I need to see where they're going to go with this because tone is going to be everything to a Doom Patrol show.
It's super ballsy to be like, we're going to spin them off already. You know what I mean?
Well, they kind of did that with Arrow. I mean, they waited for it to be a little bit more successful, but they know they need a lot of content on this.
That's true.
So the more they can start to intertwine things, I think they're going to.
That's true, but also the way that we've been told this universe is going to work out is they're going to have everything on there.
Yes.
Every animated movie they've ever done, every animated show they've ever done.
Yeah, all the Batman animated series,
Justice
all
League,
that,
yeah.
Justice Leagues, your Bruce Timm's universe.
So like a lot of people are going to be like, all right, I'm going to get it for that, and then you're going to have like you start with Titans. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is pretty good, and then you start spinning shit off after that. And if you just saturate the market though, it's just like, I'm not going to watch Doom Patrol. There's like 4 or 5 other things. You know what I mean? So you're running that risk.
Of it being a commitment of, well, if I watch this one... I actually recently had somebody come to me and they said, I would like to read an X-Men comic, but I feel like I have to read 6 X-Men comics to read an X-Men comic these days. And I think they have a good point. There's a lot.
I think Doom Patrol is just really going to have to show us how are you different. Because these weird little meta characters that have worked in the past, like Guardians of the Galaxy, made you give a shit pretty quickly.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if Doom Patrol, if you look like crap, like Titans from the jump kind of looks like crap, and a lot of people are worried about it. Doom Patrol, if you look like crap, that's not a good sign.
Speaking of looking like crap, Swamp Thing is getting his own TV show.
But he doesn't look like crap.
No, he just looks like real big vegetation.
Yeah.
He looks like a big horny swamp monster. This show is
the
actually not going to be centered around Alec Holland. It'll be centered around Abby Arcane, CDC scientist.
Who I believe was played by Heather Locklear in the movies we reviewed.
Sure was. And it's going to be about her journey with the Swamp Thing. It's going to be an origin story. She's going to meet Alec Holland.
Live action show.
Live action show. And he is going to become the Swamp Thing. And then it's going on from there. I'm excited by this. I think it is an interesting, good choice that it's not going to be following around Swamp Thing 24/7.
2 words why I'm excited for this show. James Wan. He is the man who was behind this.
There's a lot more than 2 words now.
Well, it was James Wan's the reason. Now here's the reasoning. Why for the reasoning? James Wan, of course, is directing Aquaman.
The seasoning for the reasoning.
He, of course, is directing Aquaman, which is coming out later this year. Which, by the way, little Aquaman thing that I saw, they're working together on the trailer. It's coming.
Dope.
So stay tuned for that. With James Wan, I guarantee it was some kind of thing. I wonder if he pitched this first. You know what I mean? Like if he went to DC, they're like, hey, James, we really like you. You did the Conjuring movies for Warner Brothers. What in DC do you like? And he was like, oh.
They took a general meeting.
Yeah, and so he probably threw out Swamp Thing. He threw out Aquaman, ended up getting Aquaman. Because this seems a lot more up his alley. Because he loves that kind of monster shit.
Way more up his ass. I agree. I'm listening completely.
And he said he's promising a lot of heart and a lot of swamp monsters.
A lot of heart or a lot of hearts? Because I have seen Swamp Thing in the comics pull somebody's heart out before.
I hope both.
Both, right? Let's get both.
Let's get both. Why not? So, very, very interesting to see where this show can go. I'm very also interested with castings in this DC universe. They haven't gotten a lot of big names. You know what I mean? Like, most of the Titans are pretty... Yeah. Brenton Thwaites has been in things, but no one's like, look at that movie star Brenton Thwaites.
Yeah, nobody would.
He was in Pirates, though.
Yeah.
You know, but that's something. He's
not a name. He's not a name. Nobody's going out of their way like, oh my god, what is Brenton Thwaites doing? Of course I'm there.
Right.
No offense to him, he just hasn't reached that level yet.
None of the other...
Let's wait till after Titans.
Minka Kelly.
That's the biggest name. Yeah. That's the biggest name.
So, I wonder how big they can go for Swamp Thing. I guarantee you it's going to be on the same level. You know, that kind of like ascending actor maybe. Alec Holland has a very cool story. I wonder if they're going to go the route of like government type thing.
Well, she's a CDC scientist, so yeah, it stands to reason.
Is he going to be murdered, like essentially, or is it going to be an accident? We don't know. There's a lot of routes to go with Swamp Thing, and it's an easy character to fuck up. We've seen it. Hopefully they don't do Swamp Dicks.
Is that that's the worst movie on our list of every movie we've watched for this show?
Return of Swamp Thing.
Return of Swamp Thing, but only because we don't count 3 Dev Adam.
Yes.
Which is Turkish porno Spider-Man, Captain America. It's a wonderful movie that everyone should watch.
It's on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. They are also bringing forth a Harley Quinn animated show. The voice work of Margot Robbie is still being negotiated for this.
Weird.
That would be weird, but it would be like cool in a way too. The show is going to follow Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy as Harley is separating away from the Joker and trying to find her own identity. Basically what she's done in the comics since the New 52, which has been really good and really enjoyable, and it's almost been like DC's Deadpool in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. She is DC's answer to Deadpool, I think.
Yeah, I think so too, and they're introduced very close to each other in terms of time. Yeah. And way more people jerk off to Harley Quinn, so that's way better for them. That's good money. You can't shy away from it, unfortunately. I'm excited for this show. I think this show could be really good.
I agree, but what's also weird is that we know that a Birds of Prey style Gotham City Sirens kind of movie is coming, which we were told is basically that plot of like that's Harley's arc.
Yeah, but I have faith this will be good.
Right, but if it's also Margot Robbie, like, is this canon? Like, how are you?
No, it's animated. It's totally
I know, but
different.
don't get Margot Robbie.
As soon as you animate it, it's totally different.
Sure, I get that. Well, Vixen on CW is animated. That's canon.
I'd love to get another, but that's CW. You basically get to choose whether it's canon or not.
I know.
I'd love to give Tara Strong another paycheck. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But I think it would be very interesting and a big get for them to get Margot Robbie to voice this.
It gets a lot of people to be like, oh, I might check that out.
I think a lot of people.
She's a star.
Yeah.
Talking about star power, there's a star for you on DCU.
That'd be a big star in the network by a country mile.
Yeah. She was nominated for an Oscar. So, of course.
Finally, Matt, for this last piece
what
of
the
news
fuck is this?
in the headlines, we are getting the the TV show rather. Not just a movie. It's a full TV show.
10 eps.
10 eps on Epix.
At least it's not like 18.
What we've all been asking for.
Give it to me.
An Alfred origin TV show called Pennyworth.
Called Pennyworth.
Not a Gotham spin-off.
Couldn't even call it like The Butler.
It has nothing to do with the Gotham universe, which has nothing to do with the
It's not Sean Pertwee.
DCEU universe. It's not going to be Sean Pertwee, who is doing a great job on Gotham.
Or Jeremy Irons.
Won't be Jeremy Irons, who's doing a fine job up on the big screen.
We've barely seen anything from
Barely
him.
seen anything from him. He's doing a fine job.
It's Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons. It will not be a Gotham spin-off. It's going to be its own story. It's going to focus on Alfred's time as a former British SAS soldier. He is eventually going to form a security company and go to work with Thomas Wayne in 1960s.
How old is Thomas Wayne?
Yeah, it doesn't
They're
work
not the same age.
timeline-wise. No, it doesn't work timeline-wise.
Thomas Wayne's not 50.
Yeah, he would have to be like 18.
Yeah.
Because then Batman would have to be like 55, basically.
Yeah.
Because is Batman not born around this time? It doesn't make any sense. Production's going to begin later this year. The timeline's all off. I'm not saying the show could be bad. The timeline's
No,
all
it could be
off.
good.
And we've called out timelines before. We call out the Spider-Man timeline.
Every timeline's fucked up.
Every timeline, listen. Anytime you put more than one event on a timeline, it's gonna you're risking fucking it up.
The one that's not is CW, really.
The series is slated to premiere next year. Heller is going to serve as executive producer and writer. Danny Cannon will also EP and direct the pilot.
The Gotham guys are like all up in it, but it's not Gotham.
See, we have Krypton, we have Gotham, we have fine TV shows, but there's TV shows that people are asking for that I feel like we could do that are so much more interesting. It sounds like a joke that Alfred is getting his own TV show.
Yeah, it sounds like an SNL sketch.
It sounds like an SNL sketch. I'm not on board with it. I think it's going to add to comic book fatigue.
Yeah.
Comic book TV show
This is what
fatigue.
comic book fatigue is. So a lot of articles coming out like, oh, Deadpool 2's box office is showing how there's Deadpool, or how there's superhero fatigue.
Not really.
No, Deadpool's not. He's going to make his fucking money.
Yeah, but the lower market. Well, and I also think they push out people on the sides who would have gone to see Deadpool because there's no novelty to it anymore.
Right.
So I do think that these kind of, if every show was a comic book thing, then none of them are going to be important.
Right.
And I feel like I wish this show maybe got turned into something that's a little bit more interesting.
It seems like
also, if I could talk about Alfred's time as a British SAS soldier, they have changed around Alfred's origin 100 million times.
Oh, he's a bigger Mary Sue than Bruce.
They're doing a lot of this now, especially this SAS soldier stuff in the comics, as written by Tom King. But also, he used to be like a Shakespearean actor, and like I've seen ones where he was a chemist. Yeah. This kind of seems like the Earth 2 or Earth 1 Bruce Wayne Alfred. If you remember when they put out the Earth 1 series.
We're talking about a little bit later too.
Yeah, I'm not as on board with this. So I hope it turns out well. I'm gonna give it its fair shot as much as possible. We'll see.
It seems like it might be in the same vein as like an Agent Carter.
Yeah, but
timeline wise,
Agent Carter wasn't connected to anything, and there wasn't also 2 other Agent Carters currently working.
That's true.
That's a problem.
And also was the same Agent Carter.
And it was the same Agent Carter. Yeah, that's where my problem ends up being.
Yeah. So, oh boy.
Rumor mill.
Ooh, this first one's got Joe excited.
It's got me super excited. It's what I've been asking for. Yeah, these are really good rumors. Jake Gyllenhaal may be in line to play Mysterio in the Spider-Man Homecoming sequel.
Oh, I thought it was Rey Mysterio.
I wish. Yeah, he's. Oh my God! He just hit Spider-Man with a 619. Hollywood Reporter is reporting that Gyllenhaal is in talks right now to play Mysterio.
That's THR too.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
There's
smoke.
At the end of it, they have to put like what agency he's represented by. You know what I mean?
That's how you know it's legit.
Not ask a question to drive engagement.
This isn't some Twitter shit.
Yeah.
Nobody followed Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, exactly. We're not talking about Jake Gyllenhaal got followed by the guy who directed Doctor Strange or whatever. Yeah.
Scott Derrickson.
So Mysterio, for those of you that don't know, is Quentin Beck. He's a special effects engineer.
Joe's favorite villain ever.
He's up there. I actually like Mysterio a lot.
I know you do.
I geek for Mysterio.
Dude, I was really happy for you when I saw this break on the timeline.
So he becomes jealous about the lack of attention that his work is receiving. Basically, these other guys are getting, the credit in the movie, and he's basically getting pissed off at the Tom Cruises of the world. And he ends up using his skills to stage high-profile illusions to commit crimes. They're not tricks; they're illusions.
We demand to be taken seriously.
It's Spider-Man. We demand to be taken seriously. That's the full title.
The little Will Arnett Arrested Development thing.
Is he the guy with the fish tank helmet? Yes, he is.
Yes,
does it look silly? Yes, it does. Is it really cool in the comics when they get Mysterio with his illusion gases?
Also, the video games.
In the video games, you can basically just make him do anything. Yeah. If you want him to be 30 feet tall, boom, it's done. If you want them to transport to the Antarctic in their minds, it works. He's like a mind control guy. He can do anything that you need him to do, and I think we're going to get some really cool visual experiences out of this movie. I'm really excited.
Something that I think also Mysterio, why he is very good for the villain in this sequel is because Tom Holland's Spider-Man has been established as very funny. And I think there's a lot of room for jokes when you have a very silly villain like this, you know what I mean? Who can do silly things, let's say.
It's going to be great when they like get into the sequel and they start making Peter more of a real teenager and they have to show that he's like listening to Cum Town and stuff. Getting into like YouTube arguments.
Yeah. Calling people a cuck.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
No, he would be like staging walkouts and stuff.
Oh yeah, he would. Protesting like gun violence and stuff. Spider-Man marching with the Parkland teens.
He would.
He probably would.
I'm surprised he didn't try to do that. So for this sequel, we do know that the writers, minus John Francis Daley, and the director will all return.
Because John Francis Daley's doing the Flash.
He's moved over to Flash. He's doing just fine, guys. I know a lot of people tuned into this show worried about John Francis Daley. I'm here to tell you, John Francis Daley, thumbs up this week.
I hope all the teachers come back.
Did you know Mysterio was nearly in the Raimi Spider-Mans?
I heard a rumor. I don't know how like legit it was. If it was just like got off the cutting room tape, you know what I mean? If it's just like, what if we did this? And someone was like, no.
The storyboardist said that the Bruce Campbell character who kept showing up is different people. I think in the third one he was like the French waiter.
The ring guy, yeah.
Exactly. He was going to be Mysterio.
Really?
He was going to get revealed to have been Mysterio this whole time. And that's why every time he showed up and it fucked up Peter's life really badly.
Oh.
Like he wouldn't let him into the theater to see Mary Jane's play and he fucked up the proposal and all this. Every time he showed up, it did fuck him up. He was supposed to then become Mysterio. Or then be revealed to have been Mysterio this whole time, basically.
That would have been bizarre.
It would have been really bizarre.
Especially because, like, does he know Peter Parker's Spider-Man?
He would have had.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot to be... I would love to sit down with that guy and talk to him about it.
Mysterio is certainly a villain that I would love. One villain off the top of my head that I can think of that I might want more, but I might want him in something else, is Kraven. Because if we're going to do Kraven, I would also like to see how he interacts with Black Panther.
That'd be dope.
You know what I mean? Because they have a fascinating comic book history, but also his last hunt with Spider-Man. Like, I kind of want Kraven to be involved with both.
I would love Kraven. I would love Mysterio. Obviously,
I would love Scorpion. Had the Shocker.
We haven't had a real Scorpion though. We've had a Matt Gargan.
Yeah.
It wasn't Scorpion. Matt Gagan.
Should have made him super
Who is homeboy Morbius, the living vampire? I'd love to see a Morbius.
That would be great.
That'd be really, really cool.
There's another.
I would love to see a Morbius
Rhino.
and like a Punisher. Yeah, Rhino would also be really cool.
Or Venom.
One that we saw that everybody seemed to like a whole bunch was
one of the best parts of the movie.
It might have been the best.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton's Vulture is rumored to be returning for the sequel.
How refreshing that a villain's coming back.
I know. In the MCU, it never happens. It's like
happened-
Loki, basically, and that's it.
Yeah, and there was also
And he ain't coming
there
back.
was somebody in Infinity War who came back too.
Yeah, and
Let's
that
throw
one,
that.
it was a total Hail Mary.
Jesus Christ, that came out of nowhere.
So it's tied into those same rumors that are putting Jake Gyllenhaal forward, are putting forward that Keaton will be back for the sequel, although the scope of his return is unknown.
Remember at the end of Spider-Man: Homecoming? If you haven't seen Spider-Man,
No,
Homecoming,
it's been out. Say it.
Yeah, he is in.
It's
prison.
on Netflix. Fuck you. Watch that.
It's on Netflix. Is it?
In other
It's
countries.
it's on Stars. I know that. I have On Demand. It's on Stars. Go
It's
watch
on like other countries' Netflixes. Figure out your VPNs.
He is in jail. Spider-Man did it. He put him in jail.
Yeah.
And also,
Spoiler alert,
he
Spider-Man
knows
1.
Peter's Spider-Man. Liz is his daughter. So Peter.
Well,
can-
he feels almost indebted
Protective.
to Spider-Man in a way.
protective of him.
Protective, maybe, but
Well,
I
remember at the end, the post-credit, Matt Gargan was like, "Who is he?"
that's what I'm saying. I feel like he feels something clearly.
Yeah.
Whether it's indebted to him, whether it's protective of him, I think we could expound upon that in the second film. And I don't think we'll get him for a lot.
I agree.
And I don't think we'll get him out of prison.
No.
Maybe the post-credit is him getting out of prison and then setting up a Sinister Six.
But that would be very weird, especially how Spider-Man: Homecoming ended.
But I think that might just be him saying, I think that gesture was him
We're even.
either saying we're even or it's my kill. It's not, I'm not telling you who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
I know who Spider-Man is. I'm going to take care of this.
That's true.
So
Both are good.
both are great. I think there's a lot there. And why not play with the uncertainty?
Yeah, true. Haven't played both sides. Michael Keaton can play fucking crazy.
Oh my God. We need to do Birdman for this show. I think Birdman counts for the show, by the
He
way.
was a superhero.
Yeah, I count that. Birdman counts for this show.
That might be number one.
Yeah, it's fucking up there.
Yeah. I was so goddamn mad when he lost that Oscar. I've
Yeah.
never been madder at the Oscar.
That was really bad. Was that the year that
Eddie
they gave it to
Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne? Yeah.
Never been madder.
He was really bad in
I
that.
know people talk about Crash. Crash was not good. I get it. People talk about Brokeback. I get it. I fucking hate Eddie Redmayne.
Somebody, a podcast I listened to recently said this, and I agree with it. I thought it was very trenchant. They said, "It's not. You're not portraying someone if they're still alive. You're just doing an impression."
Yeah. Like, he's now dead, but...
Now it would be Eddie Redmayne portraying Stephen Hawking.
Right.
And then it was just an impression, and also it's not a good one.
No,
it's
it
not a
wasn't.
good impression.
I remember there was a part of the movie where
It was the same problem with Ray, the movie
Yeah.
Ray. Yeah.
But that was actually a pretty fun movie, I thought.
I didn't think it was as good as people thought.
I thought it wasn't...
It's a fine.
It wasn't egregious that Jamie Foxx won that Oscar. That's what I'll say. Jamie Foxx, who's also the Shocker, in Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2. In the Eddie Redmayne movie, we're on a tangent. He got up out of his wheelchair. It's some like mental thing where it's like, oh, he can walk in his mind.
Yeah. It was like a dream sequence.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of Krusty.
Yeah, Krusty getting up like, oh right, I'm crippled.
Oh right, I'm crippled. It was just like, god damn this movie. That's all I can think about when I think of the theory of everything.
Last rumor for the day: Peter Jackson.
Oh yeah, this
may
one's
direct a
interesting.
DCEU movie.
I remember back we talked about Steven Spielberg was going to be directing Black Hawk. That same report also said that an A-list level director was also having discussions with DC, and everybody's like, who the fuck is it? It was Peter Jackson.
It was Peter Jackson that whole time. So a Lord of the Rings news outlet also reported on this. They were the first ones to really broach this. TheOneRing.net. Full credit where it's due.
Good for them. Good
Yeah.
guys.
And it's been backed up by subsequent reporting. They said that Jackson will choose to either direct a DCEU film or the Amazon Prime rumored $1 billion Lord of the Rings franchise show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do not feel great about the DCEU's chances off the bat.
It's not great, especially because Lord of the Rings is Peter Jackson's baby.
It's his thing, and they will move heaven and earth in New Zealand.
Middle Earth.
They will move heaven and Middle Earth in New Zealand to make sure that Peter Jackson films Lord of the Rings shit there. Because I think when he filmed like the third one, it was literally like 40% of that country's GDP that year.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Well, I remember this broke a couple days ago, so I've gone back and I've been watching Lord of the Rings because I haven't seen them since I was a little kid. They came out when I was like 10, 11, 12.
And now you're
And now
13.
And now I'm 13. So
Grown adult, baby.
I've been watching them, and I've been able to take like a critical eye to them. I've heard all the things like, oh, they're slow paced, there's this and that. So I've just been able to just enjoy them. Like, oh, what are these movies really about? Because they're also on demand, and they are slow. They are. But one thing you can take away, the things that I've taken away from these movies are Peter Jackson is a fucking fire director.
He's really good.
He's a great director. Just the
very good.
scope of everything, the effects for the time look great, most of them. That's the big one, and Andy Serkis is a gem. We're going to talk about Andy Serkis a little bit later, but he's great. So I agree. I think Lord of the Rings is the favorite.
Absolutely.
Because it's his thing, but he might be sick of it.
Maybe.
He might just be like, fuck it.
What do you think he could direct? What would you like to see him direct?
Well, it said DCEU. It could also be an Elseworld.
Yeah.
Could be
very true, because they've been doing that.
The two, I guess the three. Well, here's the thing. Am I doing this like, what would I want him to do, or what do I think they will give him?
Give me both.
I would like either Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some of his take on, like, Etrigan, Swamp Thing, although we're getting that Swamp Thing show. Zatanna. I think
we have 3 Alfreds. We can have 2 Swamp Things.
It's true. It's starting to rain. We can... Man of Steel 2.
So everyone who's listening to this podcast at various times at various places around the world, check to see if it's raining. If it is, maybe you live close to us.
Man of Steel 2
is
out there.
That's mine.
Although I heard... I remember we talked about Chris McQuarrie and how, like, Tom Cruise and everything, you know, like, oh, man, that could be fired to the Green Lantern thing. Henry Cavill's also in that new Mission Impossible movie.
Also true.
So Chris McQuarrie could be in line for that.
Also very, very true.
I had not realized that when we had done that. And then Green Lantern.
Green Lantern would be really cool.
Green Lantern's mine. Because I think that's the closest in terms, not just because of the ring, to Lord of the Rings. But
just give him the one with the ring. He'll figure it out.
But just this...
He keeps trying to throw that Green Lantern ring into a planet's, into a volcano.
That's kind of what Sinestro does.
Yeah, a little bit.
And Atrocitus does that too. Fuck, he's definitely going to be doing that then, isn't he? Yeah, he's going to be like crafting rings and stuff.
I just love rings!
I just love forging rings. That's my thing. It's my go-to.
Yeah.
I wish King Kong had needed more rings.
Yeah. King Kong didn't do great. Needed more rings.
So...
Guess where he was going? 3-ring circus. Counting it.
So, I want Peter Jackson to do whatever Peter Jackson wants to do. Lord of the Rings has to be the favorite.
You're like a supportive brunch friend. Bitch, you do you.
Bitch, you do you. Fuck him. DC is in such shambles right now, and that's such a goddamn shame.
It's really sad.
Elseworlds, I saw Kevin Smith throw out Kingdom Come.
Is that what he said? I saw that he said something. I stopped listening to Kevin
I just
Smith.
saw the article. I didn't listen to it. He said Kingdom Come. He also said New Gods would have been cool, but Ava is doing that.
New Gods would have been cool. That would have been really good for Peter Jackson to do
agree.
New Gods.
Yeah, his dark side, like that all would have been cool.
Do you think, since we're still in a state of flux with the main Justice League timeline, could he come in for Justice League 2?
Good.
That might be amazing.
Wouldn't hate it. But
how about a Deathstroke movie where Deathstroke's just going around killing folks in different cool places?
And finding rings.
What about a Sonic movie where he's running around taking people out?
Like a gritty Sonic?
Yeah. Man,
I honestly think it's great that all these directors want to do DC proper characters. Ooh, thunder. They gotta blow this universe up.
Yeah, we're getting closer to it. Even though I think going through the DCEU, most of the movies have at least been pretty good.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Wonder Woman was fucking fantastic.
But it just feels like it's so held together by tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was great. Man of Steel was pretty good.
I like
right?
Batman v Superman.
Batman vs Superman I liked. I'm not willing to get into it now. Suicide Squad I didn't like. No.
Justice League had problems.
Justice League was just bland. Yeah. It just had no taste.
Well, and you could tell that it was fucking Frankenstein together.
Yeah. They just needed to get out a movie. And so there's no momentum in the universe, certainly. So hopefully Peter Jackson gets to do something cool. If they're really doubling down on this, like, let's just do whatever the fuck we want kind of thing, give him Flashpoint.
Yeah, honestly.
That's what you want to do, Flashpoint.
If you're going to do the Aquaman and Wonder Woman stuff, that's a scale movie right there. He loves battles.
He loves big battles. It's a bunch of mermaids fighting a bunch of Amazons. Go,
Peter.
Figure it out.
I love Peter Jackson. Oh, okay.
No, please.
I was just going to say, I love Peter Jackson because every time when he would go to special effects offices that were doing Lord of the Rings, he'd always show up looking like a hobbit.
Yeah, he just is that.
I don't think he did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what he dresses like. Yeah. Like, no shoes. He doesn't wear shoes. And his house is weird as fuck. It's like full of just weird...
It's all weird perspective stuff. Everybody looks like 1,000,000 feet tall.
And so he's just a weird guy. But you kind of have to be that weird to be that good.
Yeah, 100%. Quick hits.
Quick hits.
Speaking of Flash.
Yeah.
Kiersey Clemons is still motherfucking Iris West.
I keep calling her Kiersey Clemons West. So I guess that's good.
Yeah, that's good. That she's branded.
Yeah.
That's fantastic for the DCEU. So after a lot of speculation, Kiersey went on to Conan and confirmed that she is still Iris West in The Flash.
Yeah, she was very coy about it, but she was saying like, "Yeah, I'm in the movie." She called it Flash. She didn't call it Flashpoint. So I don't think that means much. But also, Ezra said he met with the directors at a Philly Comic-Con. So
Andy Serkis has said that he would be in the Batman movie.
yeah, Matt Reeves is his guy.
They're very close friends.
Planet of the Apes.
They're like legitimately friends.
Yeah.
Not like how Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill are friends. Henry Cavill, the most handsome, boring man alive.
Cock.
That's how we should explain that. In the Mission Impossible trailer at one point, he just like cocks his arms and they've added a sound to them, and it makes no. Why is that?
Yeah, that trended on Twitter, and then when we went to see Deadpool, that trailer was before the movie, and several people laughed.
Yeah, it's out there that is a fucking stupid moment, but that's obviously not in the movie.
No.
It just is in the song that they're doing to the trailer.
I don't even think it's in the song. I think they just added gun effects to it. Because he's got big muscles, Joe.
So in an interview with Joe Blow, Serkis said he'd love to work with Matt Reeves on anything. They're very close friends, and he would do the Batman movie if he was asked.
I remember we threw this out there to people. I threw out the Penguin on the page because I think he'd be an amazing Penguin.
He'd be an amazing Penguin. And I love to see him as Claw. I loved seeing him as Claw, as him.
Yeah.
It's cool seeing him as Gollum and all these guys, but I do like seeing just Andy Serkis as well.
His best part in Lord of the Rings is at the very beginning at Return of the King, where he's Smeagol, is where he's becoming Gollum.
Yeah.
Because it's Andy Serkis going insane as Andy Serkis. He's not CGIing anything. And it's just a good acting performance.
Yeah.
A lot of people were throwing around Mad Hatter. That would be incredible.
That would be cool.
He looks like Mad Hatter.
Damn, it's really raining out there.
It's really going to town out there. Gosh darn weather wizard out there. Somebody, Patrick, friend of the show, threw out Killer Croc. I think that would be great.
He'd be a fantastic Killer Croc.
I know we have a Killer Croc. It's Adewale from Suicide Squad. Personally, I like Killer Croc to be a big monster.
How about a Clayface?
Boom.
There you go. Especially because Clayface, especially in the Batman Detective Comics, has been a lot more involved on the Bat family. He's part of the Bat family now. He's like a Robin.
Right.
And so I think there's an interesting story to tell there with Clayface that has not been brought to anything. Nobody's done a Clayface.
Yeah.
Let's do Clayface. Batman the Animated Series. Hugo Strange is thrown around a lot too.
Yeah. So there's so many. He's just a good actor, and you just want to get good talent. You know what I mean? He's friends with him. Like, the Penguin was rumored to be in Matt Reeves' script. Josh Gad, remember, was thrown around for that. I'd much prefer Andy Serkis.
Yeah, and he played super coy about that.
Yeah, nothing against Josh Gad. Like Andy Serkis a whole lot. So, we'll see. I hope it happens.
Speaking of Bat Family, we now know that we are going to be introduced to a new member of the Bat Family on the CW-verse.
The first member of the Bat Family.
Batwoman is
Huntress.
coming to the CW. As announced at the CW upfronts, the upfronts are like basically like an advertising pep rally. They announced that she's going to be in the crossover event. Batwoman, for those of you that don't know, she's a little bit more recent in her current incarnation, certainly. Katie Kane, daughter of some military officers traumatized by her mother and sister's death. She's inspired by Batman to protect Gotham.
Very Batman. Everybody's dying.
Her father has a lot of money because he married into the Hamilton family. Mm-hmm. And so she now, after I think like 2 years, comes back to Gotham, and she's much better trained, and she's very sharp. She's also lesbian, one of the first openly lesbian superheroes. So that's very cool.
CW won't shy away from that.
No, I think they're going to go right for that.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't have her hooking up with Supergirl's sister.
That would be weird. Actually, I almost would like that.
But it's like, stop just throwing all the lesbian characters at each other.
There's only 2 lesbians in the whole world. They're going to find each other. What, you think those lesbians don't know that, like, they get it?
It's lazy, though.
I mean, they're gonna talk. What does this mean for does this mean we have a Batman if we have a Batwoman?
I don't know. We have a Superman.
I want that answered.
Yeah, we need that answered.
Yes.
You keep teasing us with Green Lantern. You gave us a fucking Superman,
Yeah.
Tyler Hoechlin.
They've danced around it a lot.
Yeah,
it's time to get into it.
Stephen Amell was like, Stephen Amell, I give him credit because he's very out there with his opinions about how CW is handling things. He said they need to put Superman in this thing.
I agree.
He said we need to go on this.
Kind of related, Gotham can't use the word Joker or even make Cameron Monaghan's hair too green when he plays Jerome or Jeremiah Valeska on the show.
What a bunch of bullshit.
It's so weird. Yeah, they are trying to protect the Joker brand, basically, by not letting him...
Did you guys watch Suicide Squad?
Guys, that boat sailed. Cesar Romero wouldn't shave his mustache. The other guy who played Joker went insane and died because of it. Yeah. I mean, we have had problems with this character before. Let him turn his fucking hair green.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's just, come on.
It's real weird. Captain Marvel, a couple Captain Marvel quick hits. Captain Marvel will address Agent Coulson's origin in S.H.I.E.L.D., as told to us by Entertainment Weekly.
So Clark Gregg, who's playing himself, by
yes.
the way. I hope he just looks that old at like 25.
Clark Gregg, who is playing Phil Coulson.
Yeah, I hope he just looks the same. Like that's just how
No, I think they're gonna age him down like they did
Ant-Man.
Tony. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna say Ant-Man.
Also. Yeah. They've done it before, they'll do it again. They're just gonna age him down. Don't expect a ton from Coulson. I'm not right now. I think he might only be in it like
Fury.
10, 15 minutes.
Sam Jackson.
For sure they're gonna age him down.
I remember I thought when the Ant-Man stuff came out and T.I. was cast, I was like, dude, he might be playing young Nick Fury.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would have been badass. Annette Bening is joining Captain Marvel.
Yeah, whoa.
As told to us by The Hollywood Reporter, 4-time Oscar nominee will play some kind of scientist.
Yeah, very vague.
Carol's mother? Could this be Carol's mother? Annette Bening, right age, looks kind of similar to Brie Larson. Could be Carol's mother. I'm expecting that is a serious option.
Or she's just like a smart female character.
People forget that Annette Bening almost played Catwoman in Batman Returns.
She was signed on.
She signed on. She was all in, but then she ended up getting pregnant, and so she had to pull out. And then ended up being a whole fucking thing to replace her.
Yep.
Sean, I can't believe I'm forgetting the person's last name. The role eventually went to Michelle Pfeiffer, who pulled it off, I would say, iconically.
Who's in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, there you go.
Now they're sharing the universe.
Stan Lee said something very sweet. He said Tom Holland is the perfect Spider-Man. He looks just like how he imagined him when he was creating the character. I think that is beautiful. Tom tweeted back at him something to the effect of like, "Oh, hello, thanks," and it was just a nice moment had by
Grandpa.
all. Yeah.
So yeah, that's just very nice.
Who's this? So
at me next time.
Yeah. This is subtweeting.
That'd be really funny. It'd be very Peter Parker.
Be nice to Stan Lee. Stan Lee's had a rough 2018.
Yeah,
Jesus
he's
Christ. He's doing much better now.
But he's active. He's doing his own tweets now. So if you tweeted Stan Lee, he reads all of them, he said.
Yeah.
So, like, if you tweet anything mean at Stan Lee, we will come fight you.
Yeah, it was, this wasn't necessarily planned for our show, but yeah, Stan Lee, it looks like it's being gone through now, investigated now, but there is, reason to believe there was some elder abuse, which is more prevalent than people might assume that it otherwise was.
Yeah.
Stan Lee deserves, he was talking about like, oh, he almost ended up like homeless. And immediately as soon as he said that, like, I know I made fun of him, but Kevin Smith was like, you can come live with me anytime.
Yeah.
And there's millions and millions of comic book fans. If Stan Lee needed a place to live, he could come here. We'll figure it out.
A pretty nice basement, man.
Yeah. Hey, we podcast down here. You can sleep down here and be on the podcast sometimes.
Hey, Stan. What?
What do you think of the DCEU? Excelsior. We agree.
You know what? No, we don't.
DC Comics is going to raise their prices from $2.99 to $3.99.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. It was inevitable. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I remember when they used to cost a nickel. But they go they go bi-monthly, which is a problem. Marvel for their $3.99 books, they go monthly instead of bi-monthly, which is twice a month. So $3.99 twice a month is going to hurt the book sales more than they might expect. Yeah. So there might be more restructuring going on there. We'll see soon. Gotham is going to adapt the Zero-Year storyline for their upcoming season, as told to us exclusively by comicbook.com. I loved Zero-Year. It was one of the Snyder Capullo arcs, and it saw a new and emerging Batman. It was set before year one.
Yeah. What I want to say about this is Gotham wants to protect the brand when it's like, you can't use the Joker, you can't do this. But they're letting him adapt so much shit.
I know. They just did No Man's Land.
Court
Now
of
they're doing
Owls?
0 Year Court of Owls. They've killed Ra's al Ghul like 6 times. That show's so good.
What if Peter Jackson was like, I want to do Batman and I want to do Court of Owls?
Then he would do it.
But I'm saying, like...
They didn't do it good enough that nobody else can do it.
But that's what I'm saying, like...
Even though I love Gotham.
You didn't protect that brand. I get that it's the Joker.
It's the Joker. It's different.
But
it's
it's still...
Joker and Batman and titular characters,
give a
not
fuck.
arcs. How many times have they done the Killing Joke? They just did it on Gotham. They just did the Killing Joke again. They did. They did the direct Killing Joke.
Right.
And so, do you have anything else for quick hits, Matt?
I don't. Stan, do you? No.
Excelsior. I want to give some TV show updates because we've reached the end of another big season of television, and so I want to give updates on where all of our comic book TV shows stand. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., CBS, ABC. They were renewed for a final season of 13 episodes.
Tricked everybody in that season finale.
Oh my god.
Everybody thought it was going to be Infinity War.
Gotham has been renewed for a final season on Fox.
So it's their last season.
It is their last season.
They're going to do No Man's Land.
Yeah, they're going to do 0 Year for part of it. Not for all of it.
Sure.
iZombie has been renewed for a final season.
Oh, I heard it got canceled. Okay.
No, I think it's coming back for one more season.
Wow.
All the CWs, Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, they're all coming back. They got picked up months ago. Yeah. CW is all in on the CW DC universe. Oh, yeah, they're so all in. Netflix's shows, Punisher, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, they're all confirmed to be getting new seasons. In fact, Jessica Jones has already picked up for season 3, and she just did season 2.
Iron Fist just wrapped.
Yeah. Defenders are not picked up. Defenders have not been promised a second
season. As
season.
Ritter predicted.
Yes. And it's possible that keeps going for quite a while because Defenders, I don't think, drove them the business they were hoping for.
It was not their Avengers.
It did not do a good job. Defenders did not do what they had hoped. Gifted has been renewed. Runaways has been renewed. Yeah.
Runaways.
I know. The Hulu exclusive Runaways. I was amazed. It's so bad. It's really bad.
It's just, it doesn't hook you.
I honestly just think it's really shitty. I just think it's poorly done.
Well, after a certain character dies, I was like,
yeah, one character died, and I was out.
I was like, he was like the interesting one.
Yeah. Inhumans has been canceled.
Of course.
As we expected. It is not getting brought back. The worst superhero TV show I've ever watched in the modern era. Preacher has been renewed on AMC.
Good for
It's coming back. Lucifer has been canceled. And 2 shows, Legion and Krypton, which both came in late, they're both waiting on renewal. But they're both doing well in ratings, but they're both expensive as well.
Literally just broke on the timeline, Krypton got renewed.
There you go. Krypton's renewed.
So just waiting on Legion.
There you go. Just waiting on Legion. And who's to say they want to keep coming back? Legion and Noah Hawley, they kind of are the types to only do something if they have something.
Yeah.
So
they're they're artsy with it. And like, if we got nothing, we're not just going to pump something out.
Matt, are you ready to talk Deadpool 2?
DP2.
This is a spoiler-filled review. Anyone who has not seen the movie and would not like it spoiled should probably turn off the episode now. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe to the show. We'll be back next week with all this audio goodness. For anybody who would like to keep going to the end, here we go. Deadpool 2, it made $300 million so far. It's number 1 in the world.
R-rated movie, by the way.
R-rated. Broke a record set by It for the biggest weekend release of an R-rated movie. Although I suspect It 2 will beat that record.
Ooh, it'll be close.
It's going to be close. Is number 1 in the world, beat the Avengers. Deadpool beat the Avengers. I am sure that he is going to brag about that in the next movie. Yeah. Is an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. Do you think that's high? Do you think that's low? Do you think that's right about?
I think it's about 80's about where I would have it. I would say it's a fun movie. I really enjoyed a lot of it. There are some parts where it's like, that's not great, but like, is that Deadpool? You know, is like that's supposed to be not great? Like, it's shitty for the sake of being shitty.
Can you give it for example?
Well, the end.
Yeah.
The credit stuff. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we're just going to get into what we liked, what we didn't like. Basically, the story is to give a very, short overview, to give a million-foot view on this. Deadpool's in love with Vanessa. Vanessa gets killed. He tries to kill himself. He ends up getting involved with the X-Men afterwards. And that leads him on a tale of trying to save this kid, before this kid can endanger the future.
Because he was going to start a family with Vanessa.
Yeah, he was going to start a family with Vanessa and all that. He had reasons. And he loved her. And so Cable comes back in time to change the past because this kid is going to fuck up the future.
Mm-hmm.
His future specifically. And other futures. He's a murderer.
Yeah.
And so they have to save this kid or kill this kid before this kid goes off the deep end. That's basically
Cable
the movie.
versus Deadpool, who controls this kid's future.
Precisely. Matt, tell me about things that you liked and didn't like in this movie.
Really liked Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I think he just does a great job. He has a good feel for the character. Really loved the action. You could tell this was very John Wick.
It's so John Wick.
David Leitch really came in and just hammered home that action. A lot better action than the first one.
A lot better action, but I feel like the best action scene in either of these movies is still the highway chase in the first one. That's still the best we've had. But the action in this was really good. It was very fluid. It was well shot. It was well choreographed. The action in this was really, really good.
Really enjoyed Josh Brolin as Cable.
What are some fights you enjoyed, by the way? What did you think about the highway chase in this one? That one was pretty cool.
That one was really cool. I also liked just him in the beginning where he's killing all those
that was really
bosses.
Cool. Yeah, where he's at work.
Yeah, basically. I really enjoyed Josh Brolin as Cable, just the performance. I thought his story was very simple. It was a lot more simple than I thought it was going to be.
Intentionally vague, I would call it.
Yeah.
Intentionally vague.
But what's also weird is we were told that they had a lot of reshoots for this film, which is totally normal. They put in a lot more Cable.
So he must not have been in it very much to begin with at all, if that's to be believed. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. After seeing it, it's like, how could you possibly...
What did you pull out?
What did you put in?
Yeah.
Like, that you couldn't have had, that you didn't have before.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Domino, I thought she was great. I'm not in the same camp as other people saying, like, we need a Domino origin now. It's like, no, I think...
No, this was fine.
This was fine.
This was enough.
She should come back for the next one. But, like, I don't need... She said she was from that home. That's all I need. Like,
yeah, I get it. Enough.
There's not... I
don't think there's enough there to... that's where superhero fatigue starts coming in.
Exactly. This is where Pennyworth happens, guys.
Yes. This is how we get our Pennyworths. I thought Josh Brolin did a great job as Cable as well. I thought the design on him was really cool.
Yep.
I thought that the... I wish they had explained what was going on with his arm.
Yeah, that's a big reason why I said, like, we're told, because it's a spoiler review, his family is murdered by this kid, Russell. When Russell is older, he goes on a big murder spree, kills Cable's family.
He's a contract killer.
Is he? I thought he was just crazy.
No, I think he is... I think they imply that in the future, people are... It's a much more of a fascist kind of government. And
I didn't pick up on any of that.
Yeah, because his job is to go around and, like, protect people, too. That's Deadpool's job. Yeah, I think he is... I think this is a little bit closer to, like, an Old Man Logan kind of situation.
Well, and so he kills Cable's family, so Cable, using his time travel ability, he has a little, like, Turner. He goes back in time, and his goal is to kill this kid before he can kill his family. And that's very simple for a guy who has a crazy amount of, baggage, it seems.
Yeah, there's a ton of Cable stuff left out, which maybe they'll get into in their own time. I doubt it. But the Cable stuff is also so convoluted at times that I completely understand not picking it up.
I also, I know we're not doing dislikes quite yet, but if
let's jump around.
We're talking about Cable. I didn't feel like it was in character for him to do that thing at the end.
For him to save Deadpool?
Yeah. That didn't feel like that was in Cable's character.
I agree. It never was set up in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought him joining up with Deadpool was very sudden.
Yeah. Because he had the line where it's like, it worked though.
Yeah.
Like, look at the bear. Like, it's fine now. Showing that the future was changed. But it's like, it's also your fucking family. Like,
it's too much of a MacGuffin. It's too much of a MacGuffin.
What is the MacGuffin?
That we only have 2 charges, or I only have 1 charge left.
It's an easy...
I can only go back in time and save 1 person.
Doesn't Deadpool say that, too?
I thought he was going to go back in time to the very beginning. I thought they were going to use it in a different way. But you knew as soon as they introduced that, okay, we're going back in time once. And then I thought it was a little cheap to break that as well. Mm-hmm. By then just like, oh, no, we can totally just power this back up in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
No, put it in the wall charger. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, shit, we could have thought of that days ago.
Negasonic fixes it.
Yeah, we could have done this at any time. And it really means that nothing in this movie ends up mattering that much, although it's a Deadpool movie, so how much should it matter in the first place? But when you introduce stuff like that, it can get annoying. I also thought there was a big MacGuffin with those collars that just remove your powers automatically, no matter what your powers are. That's a lot to just throw in there.
I don't think MacGuffin is the right word, because that's like something you're...
It doesn't drive the plot, you're right. But it's a plot device, I guess. It's a plot device that they throw in there that we have these collars that turn off your powers automatically. Mm-hmm. Well, shit, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
The X-Men should be fighting against that. That was something else that annoyed me, and I did enjoy this movie mostly. Obviously, when you talk about a movie, you end up talking about the things you didn't like a lot more. That's something else that annoyed me. So Deadpool kills that Jared Kushner-looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
And that was a really funny joke.
Great
that
joke.
crushed.
Yeah.
And so he kills him, and he says, "Oh, all of these kids are being abused." And then the X-Men just take Deadpool away, and I guess never look into that.
Yeah, you think Colossus would at least, like...
Hey, maybe double check to see if these kids are being abused.
Right.
Look into it in the slightest. All these mutant kids.
Yeah, who are one of us.
Yeah, who are one of us, and obviously something happened here, and this kid definitely feels like he got abused.
Look at the marks.
He's got marks on his body. Something has happened.
Other kids probably have marks too.
Yeah, check anyone else. So I thought that didn't make a lot of sense, that the X-Men kind of abandoned him and abandoned these children, who are all mutants, at the same time. I thought that was something that you had to look over a little bit.
Yeah. There was also, really enjoyed all the cameos. The Brad Pitt one was funny.
That was awesome. The Brad Pitt one was really funny. Didn't love the Matt Damon one.
I didn't know it was him until the end.
I did I think I recognized it in his voice before I recognized it in him, but I did see it was Matt Damon. What is with Matt Damon in these fucking cameos?
Yeah.
What the fuck? He was in Thor, he's in this
People
one.
just like Matt Damon, man.
I guess, or he thinks he's a lot funnier than he is. It might be what's going on.
I think he's just friends with Ryan Reynolds, and he's friends with...
I guess he's living
Tycho?
out here living his best life. It was a weird cameo, but I'm also, I guess, in theory, I like those kinds of cameos where, like, hey, look, Robert De Niro's an extra in this movie.
Yeah, right. We also... It was awkward whenever T.J. Miller was on screen.
It was super awkward.
So that was...
Some of the reshoots should have pulled him out.
Ryan Reynolds confirmed that he's not going to be the next one.
He's not going to be in the next one. I don't think
you can look up why T.J. Miller is problematic. We're not going to go into that. I don't want to go into that.
Message the page. I'll get into it with you one-on-one.
Just Google it.
Yeah. I don't think I said my piece on Domino. I thought Zazie Beetz was awesome. Yeah. I thought they displayed her powers very well.
Yeah.
I was super worried that luck powers were going to be hard to get on screen.
And they joked about that.
Yeah, but that was one of my favorite... Yeah, it's one of my favorite sequences in the movie is anytime that... It's the Quicksilver of this movie. You know what I mean? Where Quicksilver comes into the X-Men movies and has just a really fun, like, 5-minute piece that's really visually interesting and very memorable. Oh, yeah, I thought that was Domino... like parachuting down and being 100% okay, and just her getting through all this shit and just happening to be okay.
Yeah,
I thought that was really funny.
The other cameos, I
wonder how that played to people that don't really know what her powers are.
Well, they explained it. She said like, my power's luck.
But you kind of know what her power is going into this. I know what her power is going into this.
I think that's why they had like the LinkedIn scene, I guess you can say, is when they're all saying like, here's what I can do.
I agree, but I would be interested to get the opinion of someone who has no context and see how that played with them.
The Dark Phoenix cameos were fun.
Yeah, the other X-Men? Yeah, that was really funny.
That was fun. I saw the thing. It was, because you only see him for a split second. It was Beast, it was Professor X, it was Cyclops, it was Storm.
Nightcrawler was also there.
And Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Those are the 5.
Yeah.
No Jean.
And
it's Dark Phoenix. So, they could be, something's happened to Jean.
Boy, I feel like that's looking into a dumb scene too much, but it is something.
It was shot by Kinberg.
That is something.
So, like, that might be...
I wonder if they're going to double-side that, where in the next movie, they're going to have to close the door a little bit. But then you have to explain why, like, Colossus doesn't go on missions.
Because he's hanging out over there.
I guess. But you do have to, like,
not everybody goes out.
You do have to address that.
I know.
I really enjoyed assembling the X-Force team.
Yeah, Peter was great.
Peter was really funny. I thought assembling the team was great. I thought the interviews were really good. I thought when they killed them all like that, I thought a lot of air went out of the theater that we were watching it in. It bummed me out. I thought it was
funny. I expected it to happen, though.
I expected it to happen, but I also expected to get bummed out, and then that is what happened.
I thought what made the scene was Deadpool just reacting to it, though. Because he's watching it all happen, because he landed fine. Well, he landed on like a billboard. And because there were high winds. So it fucked him all up. And so he's like, no, 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 no. And then like that's where you see Brad Pitt as Vanisher. He gets electrocuted. I forget what Bill Skarsgård.
Not Shatterstar, but yeah, he vomits acid. I forget his name. I apologize.
He fell into a wood chipper. Shatterstar fell into a helicopter blade. And Bedlam flew into a bus.
Yeah, man, that super bummed me out. Yeah, it's
because you like Terry Crews.
It's funnier up on the screen. No, all of them bummed me out, not just the Terry Crews one. I do love Terry Crews though. Yeah, and it didn't get laughs in the theater. Certainly.
It was a lot of that.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of air went out of the room after that. But they built it back up. They got back there. So I loved assembling the team.
Yeah.
Hated disassembling the team.
My last little it was distracting. It's not even a dislike. And they also, every dislike I've basically had, they've played with it in the movie, which is why I say, like, it sucks because it's meant to suck like that. That kid was distractingly fat.
Oh, Matthew.
He was, it got me for a second, but then he said, like, they're discriminating. And I was like, okay, that's funny. That they're leaning into it.
No, yeah, he was cast for that reason.
Exactly. But it was just like,
he's a pear-shaped young lad doing the best he can.
It was distracting.
But,
Look,
I thought I'll speak on the character. Certainly, I thought the kid was too annoying and not sympathetic enough. I do not think this was a sympathetic enough kid. Maybe that was the point: is that this kid is supposed to be an asshole.
And Deadpool still has.
But then your movie is centering around saving an asshole. I don't want to do that.
I thought Deadpool was going to kill him.
I thought that was definitely an option when they walked in there. I thought he was going to kill him.
Just be like, fuck it.
They say at the beginning, well, he's been abused.
Yeah.
But they don't ever invest enough time in that to then buy back this kid being an enormous asshole, especially when you know that this kid is going to go on to be a murderer. A mass murderer, a horrible monster.
Who wasn't? I thought an older version of him was Tamir Morrison. It wasn't.
It was not? Really?
No,
Oh, there
like
you go. So I thought they
should have got like Ben Kingsley.
They needed to spend more time because I was like, okay, it's just like a lonely kid.
I didn't care about the kid enough. That was a big problem.
And it pulled away from me.
Maybe if we would have seen the abuse more. That's
what I'm saying. Maybe not even seeing the abuse, but double down on what kind of abuse it was, or like how he feels about it, or how it made him feel, or how it affected him. He was abused and he's angry. Right. He was abused and he's angry. Okay. He's abused, he's angry, he's got
foul mouth.
A foul mouth, and he can shoot fire from his fists. Is every kid in that place going to end up becoming the same thing as him? Why is it him and not other people?
Yeah, there's no real connection to Wade.
I thought there was more work to be done on that kid.
Why is this?
He's coming back though, so I'm excited to see where he goes.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say, why is this the kid that Wade has to save?
Because this is the one that goes on to be a monster. Why is he going to become a monster though? I think we're saying the same thing.
Right. It's just they need to do more legwork on that.
Last thing before I get into a couple of things. I love the use of side characters like Black Tom and Juggernaut. I thought that was good. I
actually didn't like Juggernaut.
Didn't like Juggernaut? I thought he was very bland, but I did like Black Tom in this.
Yeah, I like Black Tom a lot because
I found Juggernaut to be quite bland.
I just thought I didn't love the CGI on it. The CGI on Colossus looked great.
The scene where they beat him, that's not how you beat him.
They shoved a thing up his ass.
Yeah, they shoved a bunch of electricity up his ass and pushed him in the thing. That's not how you beat the Juggernaut. And he didn't have the Juggernaut costume. Maybe I'm asking too much, but
I just thought it looked like a weird, almost like Abomination.
It was a little too Uncanny Valley.
It just didn't look great.
Okay. CGI didn't look great?
The CGI... Apparently Ryan Reynolds mocapped it.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that. Especially because there's so many more people he's interacting with, and it's a comedy, so you want to be communicating with people and doing that. You can't really do that one-on-one. It's a lot harder. Or you can't do it one-on-none, rather.
Right.
You want someone there to bounce off of. I thought there was a message in this movie about how prisons criminalize people more than they rehabilitate people. Because he goes into prison and he comes out as a murderer, essentially.
Right.
You know what I mean? He goes in with a chance to be rehabilitated, and he comes out 10 times the supervillain that he went in.
About
the kid.
The kid, yeah.
I forget his name. And I thought that was possibly an intended message about the place of prisons in our society.
Right.
Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but that's how I felt about that. I thought the comedy in this movie was good. I was so worried the comedy was going to be bad. Because I haven't liked...
It was more good than bad.
It was a lot more good than bad, I thought.
Yeah.
It was a lot more good than bad. There was definitely jokes that fell a little flat, but most of the comedy was really, really good. I thought they did use that thing where they started playing like a kooky song over top of like violent action.
Like
they did that like 6 times. Why did that keep going to that joke? It was really bizarre.
Like we belong together.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Dolly Parton working 9 to 5 at the very beginning. He's just slaughtering everybody. I was like, oh, that's really funny, playing Dolly Parton while they're doing this.
He's working,
and then like 90 minutes of the movie, like we've done this every 5 minutes. Can we do a different joke?
Yeah.
For a little while.
They also used the Logan death music, which was funny.
That was really funny. That was really good, and I liked the Logan reference. Before we get into the biggest stuff, the death scene in this movie I thought was really good.
Which death scene?
Deadpool's death.
Okay.
I thought the emotion around that was really good.
Yeah. I too. I really thought that we were going to get... I know it would have been expensive to reshoot this just for this one stupid little joke. When he was sitting... Because he died for a long time. That was...
Well, he has a mask on. So it might not be as hard as you might imagine to just add in extra dialogue.
No, I thought his mask had come off.
By then? Explain the moment. Sorry.
It was when he was down. No, I'm not talking when he's on the barrel drums. I'm talking about the very end.
Yes.
Where he had taken the bullet for Russell. And because he had taken off his or he put on a collar.
Right. Finish your point.
I thought he was going to say, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
Oh,
I thought they were going to drop the Infinity War line. Or just Mr. Cable, I don't feel so good. Or somebody, you know what I mean? Colossus.
That would have been really, really good. That would have been a great joke.
His mask was definitely off.
Let's talk about the mild to wild controversy coming out of this movie.
Ryan Reynolds is even addressed it.
Did he? What did he say about it? The controversy is the fridging. The fridging of Vanessa, which is... fridging is a movie technique, I guess you would politely say, where they kill a woman to further a man's journey.
Oh, no. This isn't what Ryan Reynolds touched upon.
What did Ryan Reynolds say? What was he talking about?
About the credit scenes.
Okay, we will talk about that, because we're going to talk about that as it relates to this. So, don't fucking do this. What are we doing? Why did we need to kill Vanessa in this? By the way, if he had just shot her and, wounded her, you still have a really compelling movie.
Yeah.
You can still do that, or he just needs to save this kid, or he needs to prove something to Vanessa, or prove something to himself, or he gets a contract. How about this? Deadpool's a contract killer, right? What if somebody comes to him and says, I am going to contract you to save somebody, and you have to save this kid instead of killing this kid? And Vanessa makes him take it because they want to start a family together.
Or Vanessa dumps him.
Yeah, there you go.
Because he can't commit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's just...
Or he dumps Vanessa because he thinks she deserves better. Like he
Right.
kind of went to in the first movie. That would be redoing a little bit. Maybe not that.
Although, I would have kind of liked that. Remember 22 Jump Street after 21 Jump Street? They were very self-aware. Like, just like the first one, guys.
Oh, yeah. That's the great thing about Deadpool is you can always just comment on what's going wrong.
Yeah.
It's like a Lonely Island thing.
Exactly.
It's like a Lonely Island sketch. What can we say that hasn't been said? The fridging wasn't good.
No, it's not ideal, at least.
Don't do it. What are we doing? Think of a different thing. Be better. And now the thing that pissed me off the most.
Oh, yeah, this is the biggest problem in the entire movie. And it doesn't even come in the movie, technically.
Mid-credit scene. He
Yeah.
goes back in time. They charge up the go-back-in-time machine.
Whatever.
I
The
feel like
time
we should just
sphere.
call it a time machine to be quicker.
Yeah.
The time sphere that Cable has, they charge it back up. No problem, it turns
Yeah,
out.
it had more charges in it.
Yeah. Oh,
job,
no,
Cable.
you had to set it to Wumbo. And they go back in time. They save Vanessa. So the inciting incident from the movie is now gone. And they save Peter.
Yeah.
And I believe that is it. Mm-hmm. As it is shown to us. He then also kills Green Lantern, as played by Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he shoots him in the back of the head. Very funny.
And he crushed in the theater.
Yeah.
And he shoots about 9 times the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool from X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah. And those two were very funny.
I have no problem with those two.
There was 2 that were cut that I've heard about. One of them was he went back in time and killed baby Hitler.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That would have been very funny. Not sure how you really play that. Like, make sure it's very German.
Yeah.
You know,
No, you can do it.
Like, hey,
Give him
baby Adolf.
just give him a little say that, or give him like a little baby mustache,
Yeah.
like a little Hitler
Or like the
mustache.
door says Hitler's on it.
Yeah.
Like the hospital room.
Das Hitlers.
Yeah. And is this the Hitler room? And the other one, which, motherfucker, they should have done this. I don't know why they didn't. Was they were going to have the cameos by the Fantastic Four. Chris Evans, Jessica Alba, Young Gruffudd, and Michael Chiklis.
Would have been
and
awesome.
He's going to kill them all.
That would have been really good.
That would have been so fucking funny.
That would have been great. We didn't get those, but most of the ones we got were good.
Yeah.
However, why did we just bring back the person? This is what pisses people off about comic book shit.
Yeah.
Is when we start bringing back people
No one stays dead.
that were dead. We shouldn't have brought her back to life. Also, I think it's technically for this movie, Vanessa was never dead. Technically, he saved her life and then went on all of these excursions because he has to form the team by the end. So basically, he pushed her out of the way. And then I guess he blew himself up with her out of the apartment to make sure that happened. You can see how the confusion starts. It's Deadpool, so at the end of the day, they're just gonna say shrug, whatever.
Right.
But
it undercuts the whole movie.
It does undercut the whole movie. And it fucked up my enjoyment of the movie. I walked out feeling a little bit cheated that this didn't count.
Yeah.
It's almost like this was a scrimmage.
Right.
I don't like that.
Like, I had a fun 2 hours, but it's also like at the end of the 2 hours, I wanted to have a feeling of fun.
Yeah. Well, not even fun, but I've seen a story told.
Yeah.
I want to be told a story for the next 2 hours. And at the end of the story, please don't make the last line be, none of this story mattered. That will fuck it up.
And Ryan Reynolds talked about that actually wasn't his call. That was the writers, and he wasn't on board with it to start.
Yeah,
even he talked into it.
I think even the writers have come out and said something along the lines of this was a decision by the studio. I'm not sure how much I believe them.
Yeah.
I could see it, though, that the studio wants a happier ending. But I think this is not great.
Based on Ryan's quotes, I don't think he sounded happy.
I'm not happy at all. I think it's super shitty. And I think it's a black mark on the movie.
I agree.
It doesn't fuck up everything.
No.
It doesn't. This is still a great movie.
I can still evaluate everything and performances and how the actual story was.
But this is a
I might just
notch back.
have to lop that off. You know what I mean? But then the next one's going to have Vanessa.
I know. The next one has to have Vanessa. And this fucking kid.
And Peter.
What'd you think of them?
I'm glad Peter's back. Saving Peter would have been fine.
Yeah. But then if you save Peter, you also have to save Vanessa, because why wouldn't you just save Vanessa?
I know, but fuck it.
Why aren't you saving everybody else? Whatever.
Save Bedlam.
Yeah. Save the people who can help. Save Brad Pitt.
Save Vanisher.
What did you think of the "you're not ready yet" trope that kept happening?
I liked it. I thought it's very meta.
I liked it too.
So
I was into it. I felt a lot of this movie. That 83% feels roughly correct.
Yeah,
I feel pretty comfortable with that.
yeah, if you say like it's a 79, I'd be like, well, that seems
That's a little low.
Yeah.
87, bit high.
Bit high.
83. That's about it.
That's right.
Do you have anything else for the week, Matthew?
I don't. Just end again on R.I.P. Margot Kidder. Miss
Rest
Lane.
in peace, Margot Kidder. We do recommend Deadpool 2 to everybody. Please subscribe to the show. You can find us anywhere on social media, Facebook. You can email the show upandawaypodcast@gmail.com, Twitter, Instagram, all that. For everybody here at the show, we'll be back soon on Up, Up, and Away.